Hello, Bryan Colter here, Evolutionary Astrologer, for another horoscope report for the upcoming Sagittarius new moon that happens on November 23rd, and this energy will continue to unfold over the next couple weeks. We've made it through the intensity of the blood moon eclipse. Now we get to end November on a much lighter note. I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for the last video. I did request that you like, comment, share, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And boy, did you ever. I had double of everything. It really works to help me get into the YouTube algorithms so that my content can be exposed to a wider audience. So as much as I hate to be the guy that says, smash that like button, please do if you enjoy it. It's greatly appreciated. So the blood moon eclipse was a real doozy. That was an intense one. And I talked about this in the last video, really working with that Scorpio-Taurus polarity. This eclipse sent out a 6-month shockwave as we as a collective are trying to work with Scorpio-Taurus and really growing beyond our own trauma, our collective and individual trauma, so that we can embrace more Taurus energy, which is the karmic antidote or medicine, which is ultimately about peace and simplicity and body-centered wisdom and being in the present moment. You know, the complexity of the scorpionic energy, through tough experiences, we've sustained some damage, some PTSD, if you will. But we also grew a lot of wisdom through that as well. So honoring the wisdom gained, but also striving to transmute some of those pain signatures into love and light. And the more we do that, then we have that more groundedness within us and that inner peace. So we've been working with that for a while now as the nodes have been in Scorpio-Taurus, but that came into a laser-sharp focus during the eclipse season. Meanwhile, as many of you know, we're having this last hurrah of the final Saturn-Uranus square, also very present during the eclipse season, really through to the end of this year, where Saturn, restriction, limitation, top-down order, the rules of the past, there's some wisdom associated with those rules, but there's also a sort of stifling effect that we're ready to outgrow because Saturn's ultimately the planet of wisdom. So we're gaining more wisdom, grounded wisdom, by getting rid of some of those calcified structures and embracing a new future. Uranus, the planet of freedom, liberation, individuality. These two planets have been in an arm wrestle the last 2 years, but that's about to end. So that's been a big part of the eclipse as well, which is still ongoing. Now, the last half of November is ending on a much lighter note, and the evolutionary intention is basically expansion and embracing the unknown and the unfamiliar through the Sagittarian energy. So I'll go ahead and pull up the chart here. Okay, here we go. So we have this Sagittarian new moon at 1.5 degrees. Also Venus and Mercury in Sag, so 4 of the 10 planets in one sign. And whenever we consider a lunar event, we want to look at the planet that rules the sign it's in. So the planet that rules Sagittarius is Jupiter. And Jupiter is actually in aspect to the new moon itself through this beautiful 120-degree angle known as a trine. Very flowing, supportive aspect. So here Jupiter is aspecting the new moon, but it's also in the other sign it rules, Pisces. But really, what makes this dramatically powerful is that Jupiter is what's called stationing in the sky. Jupiter's been going retrograde the last few months, meeting up with Neptune again. We'll talk about Neptune in a second here. But now it is the day of this new moon. It is about to go direct, which means from our perspective on Earth, it looks like it's standing completely still in the sky. And whenever a planet is stationed, I've said this many times, so you probably know where I'm going with this, but whenever it's stationed, it's at absolute maximum power. That archetypal field is operating at like 1 billion watts. Watts isn't the right way to measure it, but you get my point. So it's stationed, it's in its own sign, it rules the new moon, and it's trine the new moon. Wow, so this is a Jupiterian event, the king of the gods, the greater benefic, the planet of luck and expansion. So this is why it feels like this month is ending on a lighter note. And of course, we want to focus on what's the evolutionary intention of this planet. How do we really work with that? But first, let's start with the new moon. New moons are about new beginnings. And Sagittarius is the sign of the traveler, the gypsy, the pilgrim, the scholar, the philosopher, the preacher. At the core of Sagittarian energy, it is the sign of learning. It's about shaking up established patterns of behavior and leaving the tyranny of the familiar and embracing the unknown. It's about learning new things. And new moon itself, about new beginnings. This is a deeply exploratory energy. So first of all, I recommend looking at your own personal chart and look at this outer ring of your birth chart and try to find where this symbol is, Sagittarius, in your chart. And Sagittarius will be at the beginning of one of these houses, and when you find where that is, that's where you'll recognize where the new moon is. If you don't exactly know how to do this, I have a 40-minute tutorial on my website. I'll put a link above if you're interested. But it's important to know which of your houses the new moon is located to give us an idea of where in your life these new beginnings and this Sagittarian exploratory energy really wants to make itself manifested along your evolutionary path towards expanding your consciousness. So new moons are about new beginnings. Sagittarius is a fire sign. Fire signs are signs of action. So taking actions in new directions, whether it's cross-culturally, geographically, in the body-centered gypsy archetype, embracing the unknown, through the more traveling impulse of this symbol. It's a great time for travel. Of course, a lot of people are moving around for the holidays, so that kind of suits that energy there. Or it can be more conceptually, intellectually, through the scholar archetype, learning something we haven't known before. The goal here is that by the end of the month, you know something that you didn't know at the beginning of the month, expansion through the mind. Or the more philosophical or religious aspect of Sagittarius is asking the big questions in life. Why are we here? What's going on in the larger backdrop of the world? So what all these different archetypes have in common, although they have different approaches to doing things, the goal is the same, learning. It's the symbol of learning. So a good way to think about the end of this month, really the next 2 weeks, is how can I pack the experience of 4 weeks into 2? That captures so much of the spirit of Sag. In terms of challenges with this energy, new beginnings, new directions, new moon, couple that with fresh experience of Sag. The challenges could be mistakes, falling on your face, foot and mouth moments, that sort of thing. This is deeply resonant with the Fool card from the Tarot deck. In the picture of that card, there's that young boy. He's got his little knapsack. He's about to go on his first adventure. He's leaving the palace walls behind him for the first time. He's got his eyes on the horizon line, but he doesn't see the cliff he's about to step into, So that captures Sagittarian energy so beautifully. So there may be some interesting mistakes. That's okay. Sagittarius is classic for making really interesting mistakes and learning from them. And that's a really precious way of learning. Meanwhile, Jupiter and Neptune, this more, let's say, spiritual aspect of this conjunction up here, combining it with what I just said, making interesting mistakes, through this more mystical side up here at the top of the chart, it's like, well, can I do that while simultaneously laughing at myself instead of beating myself up for those mistakes? It's like getting the cosmic joke of it all. I'll talk a lot more about Jupiter because that's where I want to focus my attention. But just real quickly here, with Venus conjunct Mercury in Sag, Venus is the relationship planet. Mercury is the planet of communication, also the planet of speed because it's the fastest planet around the sun. So I love the idea of meeting new people, especially if this new moon is happening in one of your relationship houses, like the 5th house or the 7th house. It's like, how can I plant new seeds, new beginnings here? Or how can I put myself out there to meet new people, to conversate, to learn together? Also travel with friends, There's many ways you can work with this energy, but it does, down here, this does really put an emphasis on connecting with people through the art form of communication that's coming and going. So talking, but also listening to learn together and to expand intellectually, philosophically, but also potentially geographically. So returning up to this Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, this is a deeply spiritual energy. They came together this year, I think back in March or April, formed an exact conjunction for the first time since like the 1850s. So it is a rare event, really putting this archetypal field into the spotlight, where the highest octave expression of this basically is to develop spiritually, to grow closer to God. Neptune is the god of the sea, which is a metaphor for the sea of consciousness. Pisces is the dreamer and the poet, the visionary and the mystic, and Jupiter is the planet of faith. And Neptune's been in Pisces since 2012, will continue to be until 2025. So during this period of time, this year in particular, because of Jupiter's presence, has been the most important. And whenever Neptune's in its own sign, I like to think of it as a spiritual renaissance period. Now, that's kind of a funny thing to say, because if we look around in the world, it doesn't seem like there's an epidemic of enlightenment out there. But actually, a lot of people are waking up, for sure. They're waking up from their own delusions. They're waking up from the dream, the Maya, and the illusions of the world, and they are raising their consciousness much more than usual, let's say. And the last time Neptune was in Pisces was in the mid-1800s, and I would consider that a spiritual renaissance period, so to speak, because things like spiritism became popular, the recognition of entities in the astral planes and working with ghosts or spirits, which is a rather new idea. In many circles, it became more popular, still popular today. And then the ideas of the Theosophical Society really started to culminate in their minds, and then later became great works and books. There's some weird stuff there, but they really started to describe the astral body, the mental body, the etheric body, the causal body, and this is really crucial teachings. And also amazing art during that period. That's a part of Neptune and Pisces. But then we saw plenty of the shadow, like black magic, delusion, escapism. We're seeing a lot of escapism today, of course. But actually, back in 1849, which was 2 years after Neptune entered Pisces, the term alcoholism was coined. So that really... The level of awareness about alcoholism, which has been a problem for a long time, of course, really entered into the collective in a big way, because people were really getting lost in that. That's the shadow side of Neptune and Pisces, okay? So for the time that we're in now, we're in a new age. In my opinion, we've entered the Aquarian age. In terms of art, there's some amazing art out there, much of which is obscured by the mainstream. But then there's also a lot of art we may not think to consider, like, for example, framing this in the Aquarian age and technology, digital art, video games. I've played video games in my life. Some of them, they're just gorgeous creations, some of them. Now, in terms of spiritual renaissance, in the Aquarian age, how that can manifest and has been manifesting is leveraging various technologies to expand consciousness. For example, as many of you know, I use binaural beats with my guided meditations. There's me using technology to bring people into a light trance or deep trance state of consciousness so that the meditation experience is much more profound. This is a way of using technology for spiritual means. And there's technologies out there that can help with energy flow and analyzing the etheric body and all kinds of things, okay? And many more that I don't even know exist yet. But over the coming years, I think humanity will recognize that some of these technologies that have been created, will continue to be over the next couple of years, are major game changers in terms of our understanding of how consciousness works and how we can work with it more directly. But of course, there's a dark side of that movement too, which would be more like transhumanism, stuff like that. So, there's a shadow side to everything. Every front has a back. So Jupiter is stationed right now. It's about to leave Pisces soon. Okay, so working with it a bit more can be of great benefit. And Jupiter is an expansive energy. I like the line of, how can I say yes to life? How can I expand? And how have I been underestimating myself? I did say it's the planet of faith. A part of that is faith in oneself. So through the evolutionary lens, asking Jupiter questions like, how am I underestimating myself? Where in my life am I settling for too little? I'm due for a victory. How can I engineer one? It's the planet of victories. Couldn't we use a victory right now? Doesn't that ring true? And it's like consciously being aware of Jupiter so strong, the so-called planet of luck, I say in air quotes, it is a very positive energy. The toast does tend to land butter side up 65% of the time during major Jupiter times. But if we work with the planet consciously and proactively, and go in directions where we might have some self-limiting beliefs about ourselves and seek to expand and say yes to life and have faith in ourselves and develop more of that, that's when the so-called lucky planet is really activated and eerily beneficial circumstances pop up in our life, synchronicities, all kinds of things, simply because we had the audacity to believe in ourselves. So it's also helpful to know where Jupiter is transiting through in your birth chart. So you can look at the outer ring of your chart, find Pisces, it's this symbol right here, and then know the later degrees of Pisces. Jupiter and Neptune will be in that specific house. Learn a little bit about what that house means, and then recognize, okay, Jupiter is saying, be bold here, put all your chips in the middle, go that way, say yes, expand, 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 and things will work out, and you'll have a more emboldened faith in yourself and your abilities. It's a magical energy, and it's motivated by the intrapsychic process of the sign Pisces, which is ultimately about expanding one's consciousness, which is obviously my favorite subject. That's my tagline. So through the fearless embracing of the unknown, through the Sagittarian spirit, we really seek something out there. This is the spiritual quest motif, just to tie these two together. We see it in literature all the time. In the quest motif, the protagonist leaves the realm of the familiar in Sagittarian fashion and embraces the unknown and is seeking something out there. The outer quest, paralleled by the inner quest to find meaning in life. I see it in Knights of the Round Table searching the Holy Grail to find their courage. And the quest changes us. There's a book I really love called The Alchemist. It deeply resonates with these ideas. We're all on the spiritual quest, more or less. And if we're working with it proactively, we can put turbo boosters on our growth right now. And as we really embrace this, what I call wild blue yonder, these are the core evolutionary intentions, with the goal being to expand our consciousness. Now, we're going to transition into the meditation. This is one I haven't shared on this channel before. I'm very excited to. It's all about expansion. This is a meditation I learned from different circles in Christian mysticism. As usual, I use binaural beats, so for best results, please use headphones. Enjoy. Get in a nice, comfortable position. Take care that your spine is straight. Begin by focusing on the breath, feeling the air enter your nose. Feel your belly and your lungs expand. Exhale. Feel the breath leave your nose. Deep, rhythmic, comfortable breathing. Make sure the tip of your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth. And move your awareness all the way down to your toes. And feel all of your toes. And now move your awareness up through both of your feet, slowly into your ankles, and now up through your lower legs, and into your knees, slowly up through the thighs, and as your attention point moves, feel all the tissues in your physical body relax and let go. And now up through the pelvis, and lower back and stomach, up through the middle back and solar plexus, and now your upper back and chest, and just feel the warmth of the energy slowly moving through your body. Now into both shoulders, and through your upper arms, into the elbows, lower arms, wrists, and into your hands. Feel the warmth in both of your hands. And now back up through your arms, up towards the shoulders, and slowly move up into your neck. And now into the head. And expand your awareness in and around your head. Now place all of your attention and feeling on a beautiful, radiant beam of divine light coming from above and into your head and into your body, flowing through your body. This radiant energy enters your body. Imagine, feel, and experience this radiant light completely illuminating your physical body, your energy body, and your spirit body. Visualize and feel. And begin to visualize great rivers of this divine energy circulating throughout your physical body, flowing from your feet to your head. Let the visualization fade, and now place your attention onto your spirit body and imagine it and feel it growing and quickly expanding outside of your physical body, increasing its subtle, energetic dimensions all the way to a size of a large house. Feel the expansiveness and visualize your spiritual body expanding out through your shoulders and head to the size of a large house. And maintain this image for a couple more minutes, and then I'll come back. Continue to feel your consciousness operating from within the externally projected energetic shell of your spirit body. Feel the enormous energetic shape and size of your spirit body. And now it suddenly begins to shrink. It's reducing in shape and size. And visualize with your mind your spirit body slowly returning into your physical body. And now ground your awareness into the trunk of your body, mainly in your chest area. And now visualize your spirit body issuing forth from the center of your chest like a radiant silvery blue mist, projecting outward several feet in front of your physical body. And visualize this radiant silvery blue mist energetically growing and forming itself into a mirror-like image of your physical body facing you. And see it fill with a bright, radiant light. Flowing from the divine spark of your eternal soul. It already had a luminous, energetic structure, but now it's even brighter and a much deeper, radiant glow. Continue to fill your spirit body in front of you with as much divine light as possible. As you study its energetic form, and feel the energetic connection between your physical body and the projected spirit body. As it becomes brighter and brighter. On the next inhale, visualize reabsorbing your projected spirit body back into you through your chest. See and feel the energetic mist returning into your physical body, rushing back into your body through your chest and diaphragm area, returning home. And now visualize energetically closing and sealing the area located in the center of your chest. And with your heart and mind, lovingly embrace and welcome home this radiant body of light. Slowly and gently return your awareness to your body and to the environment around you. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes with a big smile.